Brianne Nadeau, and I am the council member for Ward 1. And that means that I represent the neighborhoods of U Street, Columbia Heights, Adams Morgan, Mount Pleasant, Parkview, Pleasant Plains, and LaDroit Park and Shaw. So a lot of the neighborhoods that I represent have a very strong presence in the Latino community, and I'm really proud of that. The fact that since I became council member, I've had more than 500 units of affordable housing created in Ward 1. And that's really the most important thing I hear about from people every day is housing. We know there's a lot of people who are struggling to pay rent. We know there's a lot of people who are maybe living with family members because they can't afford their own home. And the more housing that we preserve and build, the more opportunities there are for our families. So that's the big one, the 500 units. But I've also spent a lot of time improving our schools. In Ward 1, we have wonderful schools. We had some older buildings, and so I've been working on making sure that those buildings are all modernized and that they're available to the kids quickly once we start the modernization. And then I passed a bill that actually provides more services to children in the schools. So after school activities, tutoring, mentoring, those sorts of things. Yes. And that's Ward 1 has many, many small businesses. And I've focused on ensuring that they're supported. I created 2 Main Street programs in Ward 1. So those are organizations that support small businesses. And I created a Main Street for Columbia Heights and Mount Pleasant, which really needs the support, especially the small businesses. And one of the things that I'm really proud of is we're doing a lot of outreach now through the Main Street to all of the Spanish-speaking business owners to make sure they have access to government resources so that they can stay open, that they can thrive as the neighborhood is changing. And then I also created a Main Street on Georgia Avenue, which is about to begin, and it'll do the same things there in that corridor. 2017 was a very difficult year for all of us, but especially for our immigrant community. And it was so important to me to continue reiterating to our residents that we are a sanctuary city and that we will protect our residents. The year before, I had done a resolution condemning the ICE raids, and last year we spent time moving around the community doing Know Your Rights seminars so that folks would have the tools they need to be safe. And part of that is the legislation I introduced to create a new Access to Justice Fund. Legal service providers would be available under this fund to those who are experiencing issues with their immigration status. So that's very important to me. I've done some other work as well around health because I know that in these times it can be very, very stressful. And we want to make sure people are staying healthy. So I introduced a bill that helps support immigrants through their mental health. It does a study so we can figure out what additional resources we need. And that bill's already had a hearing, which is good news. And then I passed a bill that makes it a little bit easier to renew the Alliance healthcare benefit that we have for immigrants. So between those things and the other work that we're doing across the district, making it easier to get a driver's license, hopefully getting legal permanent residents the right to vote soon here in the District of Columbia. Those are the things that make people safer, is giving them more access to resources and more power. And so I'm incredibly committed to these things. Our immigrant community is such an important and beautiful part of the District of Columbia. And you know, we cannot allow anybody, especially, you know, President Trump, to impact that negatively. Well, first of all, certainly everybody who is eligible to vote, I hope they will register and get out and vote, no matter who they vote for. Engaging in our civic structure is essential to being represented in government. We are actually updating our website right now so that it displays better all of the issues that I've worked on, so that there's one place you can go and see what I'm about. I think it's really important.